Particular reason why you chose to help attorneys? Is there something that you saw there, or you just picked randomly that niche?
No, it's one of the things that we saw with attorneys is they have a lot of confidential data. We do work with other companies that have sensitive information, but it's mostly attorneys that we market towards and that we can help. Because I have so much experience in the legal field, um, we understand their business processes and how they conduct business. So when we do our security solutions, we can we already know how their practice works, and we can integrate our solutions into how they run their business.
Welcome to the 12-Minute Talks podcast presented by Mom Life and Health Insurance Agency. Learn actionable insights from our guests in just 12 minutes. Each episode features business owners, entrepreneurs, and industry experts who share their experiences and strategies.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 12-Minute Talks podcast. I'm excited to have with us today Amit Mauskar. He's from Office Online Network, where he helps attorneys with all the fun stuff of cybersecurity and securing all of their systems. Amit, thank you so much for being on today.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting topic, and I'm assuming attorneys, of course, need all this protection since they're dealing with a lot of private information, all these cases, right? Before we
Mhm.
get into exactly who you help and how you do that, can you tell the audience a little bit about how you got started in this field?
Oh, absolutely. So I started in security about 25 years ago, and really it began as research in undergrad when I was doing research in cryptography. I have a major in computer science and mathematics, so I actually love the numbers. It sets me a little bit apart from the normal uh, IT or cybersecurity person in that we did research for different algorithms and how to crack security algorithms. And after that, I started working mostly as a software developer. So I developed systems for attorneys, and that's how I kind of got into that space. So we did databases and online systems for attorneys nationwide. And then from there in 2010, I opened up Office Network Online that focused on security and cybersecurity, especially because the cloud was really starting to emerge then. So that's kind of where we took their focus to secure law firms and those businesses that had lots of sensitive information when they're starting to put stuff into the cloud.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So you have a long um, trajectory, a long time of learning all these systems, right? And keeping up with the times, I would imagine, is really important, right? And so, is there a particular reason why you chose to help attorneys? Is there something that you saw there, or you just picked randomly that niche?
No, it's one of the things that we saw with attorneys is they have a lot of confidential data. We do work with other companies that have sensitive information, but it's mostly attorneys that we market towards and that we can help. Because I have so much experience in the legal field, um, we understand their business processes and how they conduct business. So when we do our security solutions, we already know how their practice works, and we can integrate our solutions into how they run their business. Um, Many attorneys work from multiple locations, so they need to secure their office, their home. They use paralegals with different access. They have different levels of security information, plus they have financial transactions. So all of those different things have different compliance requirements. And because we've been working with attorneys for such a long time, that's where we can add the most values. Um, we also work with healthcare because they have very similar things with lots of confidential data. Um, and I've also been in the healthcare space for a while. So we can help both of those or any business that has those kind of confidential information for their clients and their customers.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So anybody that handles secure information, which nowadays might be just about anybody, right? Whether it's things like names, social security, phone numbers, right? That's what we call PII, right? Personal
Exactly.
identifiable information. Yeah, is that
Exactly. That's correct.
okay? Yeah, and so can you break it down a little bit? What you mean by cybersecurity, IT? managed services? Like, when should somebody be reaching out to you? Obviously, before something happens, I would imagine, right? Um, but can you tell us a little bit more about what that actually means?
Right. So we offer a full suite of IT services, so we can do lots of things for our clients. But what we focus on is the cybersecurity, and what that means is one of the things that sets it apart is that we take a security first approach to that. So we'll look at their processes and we'll try to secure each part of their process. Um, and what that's we call that a layered approach. And what that does is nothing, no system is ever perfect, right? And we understand that businesses will have a process they need to reach out. So we'll do things that protect every step of their process so that we can protect them while they can still conduct business. So it's not intrusive. Um, so does that mean? It's a lot of words that don't really say too much. What that means is, say for example, if they're typical scenario, you do customer outreach and you get emails from a customer, from a new customer that you don't know. So we have various points of security that process will go through. So uh, first, we filter on the email. We see who's sending it. Is a valid sender? Is it something that they're expecting? Is the behavior right? Are they asking for something more than what a normal client would ask? Right. If it gets past that, we have the firewalls to stop things. Because, say, for example, if you're an attorney and you're in South Florida, you probably don't have clients in North Korea, right? So we can flag those kind of things and filter those out. If it gets past that, we have checks on the computer system itself. Um, if that gets through that and they click on the email, we check on where the click is going to. If it somehow bypasses that and downloads something, we have something to check the download. If the computer gets infected after all those steps, we'll stop any traffic going from the computer out to an unknown location. So, and there's more steps in between all of those, but from a high level, that's what we do. So when we say cybersecurity, it's not just blocking something from outside. It's making sure that they can conduct business while being protected from anything going in or going out.
Yeah, that's a great way of explaining it, right? Because people don't realize things like this could happen until maybe they're in the middle of it, and then it's like, oh my goodness,
Mhm.
how do I continue working, right? Because like you said, somebody could have sent them an email and they maybe clicked on something, and that could lead to
Mhm.
who knows what. So I like that idea of the multi-layer approach, as you
Mhm.
mentioned. So it's not just one thing, it's multiple things, but more importantly, that they can also continue doing business, right? And so, Ami, what is something that sets you apart from other people that maybe do similar work to you?
Well, like I was saying, it's that layered approach and the fact that we understand how the business operates. Um, and we've been doing a lot of outreach lately, and one of the downfalls of doing outreach is you get more eyes on your business, right? So all these companies, we understand you got to do marketing, you've got to post on social media, you've got to put events, you've got to put your information out there. And unfortunately, when your information is out there, more people see you get more eyes on you, including bad actors, right? So that's why we take the approach that we take, because we understand that you have to get new business and the security can't be intrusive, right? If it's too intrusive and too hard to live with, you're 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 going to try to circumvent the security yourself, or you're not going to want to use it, and you're not going to, and it's not going to be effective, right? And so with that multi-layer approach, I was doing a presentation last week, and so I compiled some numbers. Um, and there's a lot of layers to what we do, and it's difficult. It's more difficult than what most people do. Um, but we average about 50 million events per month when we look, and that's around 350,000 attacks per month. This is what we see just on our clients. And I can say that we've been open for 15 years. We've had zero ransomware incidents for our clients, and that's because we take such a in-depth approach to how we protect and how we design the solutions.
Yeah, that's super important. Those are, well, like those numbers really put things into perspective. That you've been open 15 years and have zero ransomware attacks. That speaks volumes for the type of service that you provide. And Ami, how can an attorney or somebody that works in the medical field reach out to you if they would like more information about your services?
The best way, I mean, they can email me, so Amit at officenetworkonline.com. They can call the phone number. One of the easier ways, also, you can reach out on LinkedIn. Uh, I'm posting security articles and tips on there all the time. And yeah, I even have a link where they can schedule a call. So even if they just want to chat about security, have a random question, anything like that, I'm totally open for those things. I love.
Fantastic. And like always, we will have all of the links down below so you can easily reach out to our guest today. And I just wanted to quickly introduce myself for those of you that don't know who I am. My name's Lorena Tomasini, and I help families and businesses with their financial protection needs, all done digitally. And Ami, I do have one last question for
Mhm.
you here. What would you say is a good book or audiobook that somebody can get to learn maybe a little bit more about these types of services, or just something you might find interesting in general?
Well, for any of the security things, um, I couldn't say there's an actual book because it changes so frequently. But definitely, if you're on LinkedIn, we post tips all the time. Um, and I gotta say, I'm guilty of this. I haven't read too many books lately because I have a 5-year-old, and all of my book reading has been whatever she wants to read. So,
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Awesome.
mhm.
Well, it's always good to have a good resource online that's providing uh, good information, right, about all of this. So we'll definitely post that LinkedIn uh, link uh, on your episode. Amit, thank you so much for being on today. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, thank you for having me. But definitely, one tip I always give to everybody: make sure your backups are running because you never know what happens. So check your backups, make sure they're good, just in case.
Awesome. So like they joke around, right? Have a backup for your backup, right?
Absolutely. Check your backup is good. I mean, and check that it's running.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this valuable information.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the 12-Minute Talks podcast, presented by Malm Life and Health Insurance Agency. If you enjoyed today's conversation, remember to share and subscribe. Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember to make it a great day.